In the past few decades, the prevalence and capability of technology has been advancing faster. As a result, the turnover of new and outdated devices has also been happening faster. And nowadays, it only takes a year or so before you have to replace old technology. A lot of retailers offer trade-ins for old devices. But what happens to that tech after it's traded in? Most companies pass it on to dedicated electronics recyclers. It's then the job of those companies to handle and recycle this waste in a safe and efficient manner. But this isn't happening, and this is what's becoming a global crisis. An estimated 70% of the annual e-waste that we produce in the United States alone ends up in long-term storage, and then after a year or so ends up getting shipped overseas. Most of it ends up in developing countries that have a large workforce to deal with this, largely in China, India, and Ghana. In China, there are entire villages dedicated to different types of recycling. Some villages recycle circuit boards, while others recycle monitors, while even others might be recycling CPUs. Now, recycling electronics is a really tricky and even expensive process. Valuable materials like rare earth metals have to be extracted from, the rest of the overall product, which, of course, the byproducts of this can be really toxic. Organizations like STEP and Greenpeace have actually investigated a lot of these villages in China, and the processes they're seeing are not safe and efficient. Instead, circuit boards are being burned over coal fires, and a medieval acid recipe is being used to extract precious metals. Lead, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, beryllium, a whole lot of other toxic chemicals are being released into the waterways, into the air, into the ground. These entire villages are toxic as a result. On entering these villages, researchers have immediately felt irritation to their lungs and to their eyes. Within a few years, people working at these places have been showing all sorts of health problems. They're suffering from respiratory disease, cancer, organ failures, permanent neurological damage. Miscarriages and stillbirths are common, and children born in these families are suffering from pretty severe birth defects. One of the most distressing things is the workforce itself. Entire families, including kids as young as 5 years old, have been seen working in these facilities. These families are usually impoverished and poorly educated and don't really have a lot of options, so they travel from all over parts of China or in India and Africa to work here to make a living, not realizing just how toxic this is. And the worst part is they're being exploited by their own countries who do absolutely nothing to stop this. These processes are having a devastating effect on the local environment and the environment at large. Some researchers are actually starting to compare these villages to Chernobyl. And we're seeing similar damage to the plants and animals in the area. Plants and animals that serve as food. Toxic materials are making their ways into the ocean from contaminated watersheds. Gases are being released into the air that further damages our atmosphere. The greater environmental impact makes this a truly global crisis. This isn't just affecting the local environment. This is affecting our entire planet. And we only have one of those.